Alright guys, welcome to another week, another episode. So if this is your first time here, we just want to say thanks for coming in. We are Muiwa and OG, and every Sunday we drop a new video where we share our take on all things relationship before marriage.
So, if you have concerns about getting married, you're scared about getting married because you've seen like scary things going on in the world out there, have no fear, because on here we show you what you can have if you do things God's way.
All right, so this week, what do you do when trust has been broken in your relationship or marriage? So if you're the one who has done the cheating, you're wondering, you're sorry, you're genuinely sorry, and you're wondering, how can we regain that trust? I don't know why my partner cannot just move on from this situation. We're going to be sharing some things with you guys.
On the flip side, if you're the one that has sort of like, should I say, being a victim or being on the receiving end of someone that cheated in a relationship, so your partner cheated on you or broke trust in some way, you're finding it hard to forgive, maybe you're even scared that it's not going to stop, that he's going to continue doing it, and you're wondering, how do you recover? Like, how do you move past this? How can you get back how can you get back what you guys had? Then I believe that this video is going to help. But just a little caveat, we're in no way endorsing cheating. Everybody has the right to make their own decisions. So you've decided that you guys have decided you want to make it work. We're going to share some tips with you on how you can do that.
Absolutely. So 4 ways that you can regain trust after cheating or after your partner has been unfaithful. All right, so the first thing that you need to do is you need to be realistic. And I'm going to be speaking from the point of view of someone who has done the cheating, not me, but if you've done it, then, you need to be realistic basically, because what you've done has potentially changed your relationship forever. The wife that you once knew, the girlfriend that you once knew can no longer be the same because trust has been broken. So the little things that you used to do before that used to be ignored, weren't really an issue, will now become an issue, and you need to be able to adapt to the new reality that you've created for yourself, because that's what you've done literally. For example, like I know, little things like, you call your partner and, or your partner will call you and you don't pick up, and in their mind, they're just thinking, oh, maybe he's at work, maybe he's sleeping, he'll call me back. Those conversations are not really going to go the same way anymore, because now that you're getting missed calls, it's a different thought process I'll be going through that person's mind. What if this person is with this person? What if he's doing what he just, what he's not supposed to be doing? Before, when you come home late, maybe you had a late night at work, it's not going to be the same conversations, because now trust has been broken. Or maybe, and this is the one that a lot of guys hate, your partner is checking your phone. Maybe before they never used to check your phone, but now that trust has been broken, they want to snoop around, see what's going on. So you need to be able to adapt to your new reality, because I know a lot of problems that marriages are facing to your relationships is when you are trying to maintain the status quo when change has come. It's kind of like how we're in the COVID season right now, everyone's life, everyone's routine has been changed. Imagine you want to live the same way you've been living before. You used to shake hands, you used to hug people. You can't do that in this season because things have changed. So there are 3 things that you need to do to maintain that realistic mindset in this season. And it's what we've been advised to do during this COVID season as well. You need to wear a mask. You need to cover your mouth, basically, because, you're going to want to justify why you've broken the trust. You're going to want to justify why you've cheated. But what I want to advise you is just keep quiet. You've literally hurt the other person. You need to be empathetic during this season. You need to literally have a mask around your mouth. Just acknowledge that you've hurt them. However way they want to take it, you just need to acknowledge. I've been working in the bank for the past 2 years now, and the one thing that I've learned is that the customer may not always be right, but the customer always needs to be acknowledged. If they come in, they're irate, they're angry about the service that they've been provided, you need to be able to agree with them. Because once you agree with them is when you can then solve or provide a solution. The second thing is you need to sanitize regularly. So I mentioned these two things earlier about missed calls and snooping around in your phone. I believe these are opportunities where you can actually start to rebuild that trust. You used to lock your phone before. You know what? I've broken the trust in this relationship. I'm not having any passwords on my phone anymore. Or this is my password. You have access to my phone whenever you feel like it. If you're going to be late from work, it's not to assume that, oh, she's going to understand that I'm late. Call her. Thank God there are video calls now. I want to talk to you on my way home. These are opportunities not to get angry or feel like, oh, this person needs to move on from this situation. They're actually opportunities where you can start to regain trust. So you need to sanitize properly, because these situations can help you wipe the slate clean. And the third thing is you need to maintain 6 feet. Whatever sort of triggered that action in your life, you need to maintain 6 feet. It might be friends, it might be that person or that coworker that keeps messaging you inappropriate messages. You need to keep 6 feet from those people now, and I'll talk more about that in a bit.
So your partner has cheated on you, and he's like trying all these things. He's trying to be realistic, and you should allow your partner rebuild trust. Because one thing I find is that a lot of women in this situation, it may be intentional, it may not be, it may be unintentional, but what I find them doing is constantly punishing their partners. And that is not going to get the relationship anywhere. It's not going to get you to the point that you want to get to. So you have to allow him build trust. So yes, he's doing all these things. The part that you have to play is not to hold on to the past. Because trust is built on, you build trust on sort of like consistent action. So if he's consistently trying to do all these positive things, he's consistently trying to change, his actions are sort of like, he's showing consistency in that area, but you're still holding on to the past, I'm sorry to say, but at this point, you are the one that is preventing that trust from being rebuilt, because you are the one that is still holding on to the past. And obviously, nobody is saying here that, oh, that you're going to let him off the hook easily or whatever, but you need to understand that this is a relationship. It's not a you or I anymore. It's an us. It's a we. How are we going to move this thing forward? And like I said, your part is to allow him to rebuild trust. It's not like you're giving him a free pass or whatever. Like I said, trust is built on consistent action. So on your part, you need to stay in the present. Obviously, these thoughts of what he has done, as in even in the present, like Muyiwa said, like, okay, maybe he's late, or you feel like he's acting funny, the thoughts will come to your mind, but it's up to you to decide what you're going to allow to linger and what you're going to act on. So just because a thought comes to your mind doesn't mean that you should act on it. So if, for example, you feel like, okay, fine, maybe this behavior is seeming dodgy or whatever, it's not an invitation for you to just attack him or be like, oh, that this is what you did 5 years ago or whatever. This is actually an avenue for open and honest communication. So communication skills right here is really, really important, because you should understand the right timing to bring things up, the right strategies, and all of that. And one thing that I'm going to say as well is set realistic boundaries. Like he said, with the guy keeping 6 feet, I know in such situations, the ladies will, well, depending on whoever cheated, because right now we're just assuming that it's the guy that cheated, but it could be the lady.
True.
Depending on whoever cheated, the victim or the cheatee is now going to come up with all sorts of requirements that, oh, I don't want you to do this, I don't want you to do that. And then the cheater, because he or she is trying to make up, will agree to all these things, but some of these things are often unrealistic. And eventually the person is not going to be able to keep up. So for example, if for example, maybe the person cheated with a co-worker and you're like, oh, I never want you to talk to this woman again or whatever, the guy too will say yes. Well, how realistic is that they work together? There are other boundaries that should be put in place, but not never talk to this woman again or whatever. Like, unless
will a realistic boundary, you need to go on LinkedIn, babe. You need to change.
No, that's the thing. Unless you're going to say that he's going to change his job and not be in contact with that woman again, it's unrealistic to say I never want you. What a more realistic boundary, for example, would be like, okay, fine, don't be alone with this person. If, for example, maybe the kind of work they do, they have to be alone, then he should be, as in he should check in with you constantly and stuff like that, have an accountability. There are ways around this thing. So yeah, so I guess what I would say here is allow him to rebuild that trust that has been broken.
All right, so number 3 is you need to identify the real problem, the real trigger that caused you to do what you did. And there's this verse that my wife shared with me, or OG shared with me a few months ago, and it's deep. So Proverbs 27:7 says, a person who is full refuses honey, but even bitter food tastes sweet to the hungry. Let me just say, a person who is full refuses honey, but even bitter food tastes sweet to the to the hungry. Sorry. So you need to realize that for you to have done what you did, there was something you were hungry for. Like you were hungry for something that you weren't full for. Because someone that is full can refuse honey. So someone that is full can refuse something that looks good. But for someone that is hungry, even the bitter things start to taste or look good in their eyes. So you need to identify the real problem. What is the thing that you were hungry for? I remember it was just yesterday that the Holy Spirit revealed to me why my transformation was so instant. I've been asking him the question for a long time, like how come? Because most people, like when they change, they do it gradually. So they stop drinking, they stop going out, they stop doing it. Like it's a gradual process. Mine was instant. And, he gave me the answer yesterday because, I realized that my root problem was solved. And that is why every other thing just dropped off instantly. So, for example, like I used to womanize, I used to go out, drink, do whatever, because I was hungry for meaning. My life was screaming out to be known for something. And so when I didn't find other things, I went to school. I didn't know what I did in school. But when I didn't find what could distinguish me from other people, I decided, maybe, doing these things will make me stand out. Maybe doing these things will give my life the meaning that I was craving. But the moment God showed me, speaking to millions of people and impacting people on a different level, that need, that thing I was hungry for, immediately became satisfied. And that's why those other things that were sort of symptoms of a root problem just dropped off. A lot of guys, I genuinely feel like they are sorry for what they've done, but they don't just know how to deal with the problem. They don't know what is triggering those actions. So by the time they try to, deal with that problem a few times and they see that it's not producing the results that they want, they just, identify with the problem. They then personalize it and say, this is who I am. I cannot change. So just deal with it, But the moment you're able to identify the right problem and you solve that problem, then all these things will drop off. So one of the questions that you need to ask is not how do I stop cheating, but how do I become a better husband? How do I become a better husband? Because once you're able to answer that question, then cheating is just a byproduct of answering that question. Who am I? The moment I saw myself the way God sees me, my entire life changed. So how do I become a better husband will immediately take care of that other question.
So one thing that I'd like to say is, as the cheatee, it's important not to blame yourself. However, it is also equally important to take responsibility for your part in what happened. Now, bear in mind, I'm not saying take responsibility for what he did. I'm saying take responsibility for your part. In every single situation, regardless, and even if someone hurts you, if someone upset you, someone betrayed you, there is always something that's not necessarily that we did to cause it, but we had and we contributed to that situation. At the end of the day, you're not in control of someone else's actions. The cheater is completely in control of his or her actions. They were the ones that decided to cheat, regardless of how the situation was. However, like I said, in every situation, everybody played a role, regardless of how minute that role was. And this particular topic reminded me of a movie that we watched a few weeks ago. I think it was the Madam CJ Walker thing on Netflix. And while that was highly Hollywoodicized, that was actually not the real how life played out in real life. But when like we even said it, like watching the show, like when she started seeing some sort of success and her business was progressing and the way she started treating her husband, it was just obvious where things were going to go. Because as in right from the beginning, the husband, he was her biggest supporter. He wanted to be there by her side and stuff like that, but she kept moving ahead of him. I remember when they were even going to go to that all men's talk or whatever, when she was trying to get an endorsement. As in, he was like, that scene, he was proud of her. He put his arm out like, this is my wife, like, hold my arm, let's go in together sort of thing. Auntie just raced ahead of him, as in she was just going. And at the end of the day, while he was completely responsible for his decision to cheat on her, she also contributed to the atmosphere that sort of like influenced his decision to cheat, if that makes any sense. So, like I said, as in, it's not that we're saying take responsibility for what he did or take responsibility for his actions. No, everyone has to take responsibility for what they did or what they didn't do. So while we're saying don't blame yourself, it wasn't your fault that he made that decision. However, there were little things that maybe you did or you didn't do that sort of like encouraged or created that atmosphere that led him to make that decision. So, I mean, you're rebuilding trust, you're trying to improve your relationship. It's important that people don't repeat the same mistakes that they did.
Absolutely. So in summary, trust is literally doing what you said you would do. And whenever trust is broken, it means that there has been, you've said something and you haven't followed it up with the appropriate action. I mean, even Jesus Christ had to build trust with us. Whatever he said he would do, he then went ahead to do it. When he said, I'll heal this person, he healed them. When he said, I'll resurrect from the dead, he did it. And that is why we can put our trust in him. So if you want to regain trust, you need to realize that what you say has to match what you do. So we've come to the end of this one. We have an important announcement to share with you guys. So we're going to be starting a Seed Journal bootcamp. We're going to be taking only 12 ladies through a 21-day habit formation experience, basically. So if you're tired of dating the wrong people, you want to be intentional about who you're dating, you want to get God's best for you, you want to have a marriage that inspires other marriages, this is the perfect platform for you. So it's a 21-day boot camp. We're going to be instilling the right habits that will produce the results that you want. People don't just become millionaires, they have millionaire habits. It's habits. You live and die based on the habits that you have been able to repeat over and over and over again. We're going to help you sow 10 seeds in 10 critical areas of the husband that you want to get married to. 10 seeds that will create that kind of man that you want to get married to. There'll be daily accountability, a potential one-on-one counseling session with us. And the way that you get access into this platform is you need to get the Seed Journal. The link is right below. If you've already purchased the Seed Journal, you already have first dibs on it. It's a first come, first serve basis. We're going to be taking 12 ladies, and it's going to be starting May 9th. So the faster you get it done, the faster you get into the platform. So, we're very excited about it. It's going to be a transformational experience. So please, link is down below. Get in. So we've come to the end of this one. We'll see you guys next week. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell and like the video. We want to hear your comments as well. So take it easy. Bye.